Okay, friends, this one is coming in hot. It's a hot potato. So grab your popcorn and get ready. The reason for this video is because last night I was scrolling through my YouTube shorts and this video came up.
Ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that? What's that, brother?
What's that, brother? This short made me think. Does the online Linux community just hate Ubuntu in general? I've been thinking about this topic for years, and we've all seen the memes come and go, but there's a dichotomy in the Linux world. There is, what do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to go into detail later in the video, but what I mean in general is that there's this Linux Ricer, Reddit poster, YouTube commenter, the loud hobbyist versus the silent professional. Before we discuss the dichotomy further, let's talk about the things that I don't like about Ubuntu. I know a lot of people are like eating their popcorn, like, yeah, hit them hard, hit them fast, don't leave anything on the table, Ubuntu sucks. Well, I don't think Ubuntu sucks. There are things that I don't like, so let's talk about them. Snaps. Of course, I need to talk about snaps. But it's so popular to poo-poo snaps that I almost didn't want to talk about it, but I have to because I don't like that if I do apt install Chromium or something and I get the snap version of that thing. That feels like a snap and grab, snap, switch and bait. I don't know. I'm making something up probably, but it feels like I can't trust it. It's like, am I getting a snap? Primarily because I'm an infrastructure administrator, I can't install something that's going to automatically update itself. I have to. Like, there's change management, there's predictability, there's stability. There's so many things that, things that are crucial for infrastructure to run. You can't be willy-nilly just updating it. So somebody's going to say in the comments, oh, you can put it on hold. That's not the thing. Yes, you can pause it. But the thing is, if you either forget or it's for some reason, like the whole thing is just not trustworthy for the administrator. Number two, their store is proprietary. And I kind of feel like that whole thing just goes against the ethos of open source. Rewriting the core utils in Rust. I don't have a problem with Rust. I'm not a programmer. I don't know Rust. I don't know C. But I feel like there's like this, I might be wrong, but it feels like there's like this evangelical agenda in some community to Rustify everything because it's memory safe. But what's wrong with the core utils in C? Let me know in the comments. I'm not a programmer, but I feel, I might be wrong, that there's this general push, I don't know why, towards Rust. Number four, I think, if we look at the major contributors to the Linux kernel, we can see that by far the biggest one is Intel, Google, Meta, Red Hat, AMD, Lenovo, Huawei. It does not mean that Canonical is not contributing because they're maintaining, of course, the Ubuntu kernel, which does involve substantial work because their LTS is 5 to 10 years, which is amazing. So you would get hardware enablement. They're backporting drivers, security patches, general patches. And don't forget, you have distributions like Mint, which is huge, that are downstream of Ubuntu and Zorin OS. This one is an oldie but a goodie, a favorite of mine, because I was running Ubuntu in 2012 when this happened. Who can forget the Amazon search lens? When you search for something on your desktop, it was sent to Amazon. That kind of put a bitter taste in my mouth, which still resides somewhere in the back. But, it's 2012. Get over it. But that does bring me to the biggest issue at hand, and that is that feeling that Canonical has a history of breaking trust or acting in a way that reminds me of Apple or Microsoft. And I could probably list more things, but I'm going to stop here and move on to the things that I do like. This might seem silly to a lot of people, but the main reason for me is their font. I love their fonts. I install Ubuntu fonts on machines that have nothing to do with Ubuntu because I like their font. Another one is their wallpaper. I generally like their wallpapers. I like their color scheme. I like how things look. I like how they customize GNOME. I don't like GNOME. I don't like their leadership. It feels like they have an evangelical agenda towards some things that have nothing to do with free open source software at all. But with Ubuntu Canonical, I like their version of GNOME. And they have brought huge awareness about Linux in general. So many people have started using Linux because of Ubuntu. That is always going to be a huge win in my book. General support, because Ubuntu is so popular, it's likely that if you go on the line, you might find somebody that's had the same issue and somebody has solved it. So that is really good. Ubuntu is solid. It works. Their hardware support is good. That is something I like. Then there's Ubuntu Pro. I like it. I like it. Why? Because of the dichotomy. Let's get into it. But let's finish this first. Ubuntu Pro, it is free. What's not to like? It's literally free. Literally. You get support then from 5 years to 10 years. So that is a great segue into talking about the two different worlds of Linux that I live in, the dichotomy. Here are my 2 cents, my final rant of the day, and the real issue. The real issue is that there are 2 worlds, and the hate towards Ubuntu is coming from this world that we will call the utopia. See, these are the loud voices on Reddit, the YouTube comments, the forums, that Linux is a lifestyle. It's this attitude of, I'm this real, true Linux nerd, better than any Ubuntu user. You know, it's my lifestyle. It's rebellion, corporate greed. They judge the worth of other Linux users about in regards of how obscure their distro is and how heavily they riced their terminal. To them, software should always be purely, volunteer driven. They just take and take and take. And it's all like this hippie notion of give me, I should not give anything back, and everything should be free, volunteer driven, and entirely free of corporate taint. But utopia literally translates to no place. And that's literally where this idealized society exists in the Linux world. Then we have the professional world, where many of my friends live and breathe, as do I. The world that keeps the internet going, cloud services available, DNS answering, etc. The boring stuff. Most of the servers that we work on are Ubuntu, Debian, Red Hat, or Red Hat-based distros. The boring distros that the Linux uber purist nerd makes fun of. The distros that contribute so much to the Linux community. This world, the professional world, does not care about ricing, does not care about your terminal, does not care about desktop environments, tiling window manager, etc., because we just live in the terminal. We are SSH'd into a server the entire day. We don't care. See, we don't need to use the newest tools. We just need a terminal, the core utils. It needs to work. It needs to be predictable and reliable. Most of them, my friends, have Macs, not because they can't run Arch with blinded eyes, asleep, but because they live and breathe in a terminal all day. We work on servers all day, and then the same machine needs to attend a Teams meeting, Outlook this, SharePoint, whatever, That's the world that we live in. That needs to work. If my boss tells me to create this thing, go to this meeting, do that, it just needs to work. And a lot of people in the professional community, they choose Ubuntu as a distro, and that's fine, that's amazing, that's good. Because many of these people have forgotten more about Linux than the people making fun of them know currently about Linux. Those are my 2 cents. I have not seen anyone in the community talk about it this way. The dichotomy between the 2 worlds. See, I use Omarty. Why do I use Omarty? I'm going to make a video about that later. But honestly, because it uses Hyperland, I like a tiling window manager because it's clickety snap. I use the keyboard to get around, but I'm not going to configure Hyperland to save my life. I'm not, Omarty installs in 3 minutes. Time is money. Things need to work. I can make it work. And so I appreciate you watching. click like and subscribe. I would love to hear from you all. So until next time.